Welcome to XP Quantum, reminding you who you are. Do you want to be a millionaire? It's a question that on the surface seems material, almost cliché. But beneath it lies a frequency, a vibration, a shift in consciousness that has very little to do with money itself and everything to do with the way you are broadcasting reality. The paradox is this: the moment you stop chasing the identity of a millionaire and begin living as if the frequency of abundance is your nature, the external circumstances reorganize themselves to reflect it. Money arrives, opportunities appear, synchronicities align, and life itself begins to play in your favor. Here's the catch though: most people approach this question from the wrong direction. They say, once I have the money, then I'll feel free. Once I have the wealth, then I'll be generous. Once I achieve the financial breakthrough, then I'll relax and live abundantly. But quantum reality flips this on its head. What if the exact opposite is true? What if freedom, generosity, and abundance are not outcomes of being wealthy, but the very causes? What if stepping into the mindset of a millionaire is not about spreadsheets, bank balances, or grinding for decades, but about retuning your nervous system to coherence, repatterning your identity, and aligning with the intelligence of the field? We live in a world that conditions us into scarcity from the very beginning. School teaches us to compete, to wait for permission, to ask whether we're doing it right. Culture tells us to hustle endlessly, to glorify busyness, to compare ourselves against everyone else. The subconscious script most people carry is, I'm not enough yet. I don't have enough yet. I need to push harder, sacrifice more, and eventually maybe I'll arrive. But what if this constant striving is actually what keeps us locked out of the very frequency of wealth? You see, your nervous system is not just a bundle of biology, it is your transmitter. When you live in stress, fear, and survival, you are radiating decoherence, which means your field is scrambled. Life reflects back scrambled outcomes, stop-start opportunities, near misses, constant plateaus. But when you shift into coherence, when your heart, mind, and body are broadcasting the same signal of abundance, suddenly doors open that logic cannot explain. Studies from the HeartMath Institute have shown that coherent heart-brain states increase intuition, creativity, and even measurable electromagnetic fields that influence others around you. What does this mean for becoming a millionaire? It means that wealth is not a chase, it's an alignment. Think of reality like a tapestry. When you're focused only on fixing the threads that look messy, pulling at knots, you're fighting with the weave. But when you step back, when you hold the image of who you're becoming, the threads reorganize themselves into patterns you could never force with your hands. Disruption is not chaos. It is intelligence reorganizing itself into a higher form. When things seem uncertain, when old identities collapse, when you feel the discomfort of not knowing, that's the quantum field asking you to release control, to surrender the false self, and to step into the true frequency of abundance. Here's the thesis. Living with the mindset of a millionaire is not about chasing numbers, it's about training your nervous system to embody freedom before the evidence shows up. It's about remembering that abundance is not something you get, it's something you already are. Let's take this deeper with a metaphor. Imagine electricity running through a circuit. If the wiring is fragmented, the energy leaks, sparks, and fails to light the bulb. That's most people. Scattered focus, doubt, fear, mixed signals. But coherence is like rewiring the circuit. Suddenly the current flows, and the bulb glows effortlessly. Wealth, then, is not created by grinding harder, but by becoming a clearer conductor for abundance to flow through you. And here's the science. In quantum physics, the observer effect shows us that particles exist in superposition, multiple possibilities at once, until observed. What collapses them into reality is attention. You are literally collapsing your financial future into being by the quality of your focus. If your focus is fear, lack, and not enough, you are stabilizing those probabilities. But if your focus is coherence, gratitude, generosity, and expansion, you collapse realities that match that. This is why so many millionaires, when you really study them, didn't just chase money, they embodied a frequency of possibility. Think of Richard Branson. He plays, he experiments, he sees opportunities where others see limits. Or Oprah, whose wealth was not built just on business savvy, but on her embodied broadcast of empowerment, possibility, and love. Their wealth is the external echo of an internal frequency. So let me ask you again, do you want to be a millionaire? If your answer is yes, the first step is not to fix your bank account, but to shift your identity broadcast. Because reality is participatory. It's not happening to you, it's happening through you. You are not just in the field, you are the field. This brings us to the payoff. When you practice living as if abundance is your nature, your nervous system shifts from fight or flight survival to parasympathetic coherence. Your brainwaves drop into alpha and theta, the states of creativity, flow, and visionary insight. This is not fantasy, it's neuroscience. Research shows that in coherent states, the prefrontal cortex, the seat of vision and possibility, lights up. You gain access to ideas, solutions, and alignments that a stressed-out, survival-driven brain could never see. That's why opportunities seem to just appear when you're in flow, because your nervous system has become a receiver tuned to higher possibilities. And here's the beautiful irony. When you stop needing to be a millionaire, when you stop gripping wealth with scarcity, that's when it flows. Because the field cannot mirror desperation, it mirrors coherence. Scarcity says, I am separate from abundance, I must chase it. Abundance says, I am the field itself. I already am what I seek. So what does this mean for you right here, right now? It means the mindset of a millionaire is not a motivational poster. It is a daily practice of coherence. It is remembering who you are. It is stepping into the truth that you are not waiting for abundance. You are broadcasting it. Pause for a moment and take a breath. Inhale gently, exhale softly. As you breathe, notice that you're not just breathing air, you're breathing intelligence, life itself, the field moving through you. That breath is abundance. That awareness is wealth. And the more you train yourself to live in that state, not as a theory but as a felt experience, the more the external mirrors it back. Living with the mindset of a millionaire helps because it reorganizes your entire being. It dissolves the protective false self that clings to scarcity and reveals the true self that knows abundance as its natural state. It shifts your relationships because when you are broadcasting wealth, people feel safe, inspired, and magnetized around you. It shifts your creativity because coherence unlocks ideas you could never think your way into. And it shifts your mission because when you embody abundance, your life naturally orients towards service, contribution, and legacy, not just accumulation. And this is where the scale expands. Your personal shift is not just about your bank account. It's about the collective awakening. Every time you step out of scarcity and into abundance, you ripple coherence into the collective field. You strengthen the grid of awakening. You demonstrate, without words, that life is not about surviving. It is about thriving. That is the real wealth. So here's the activation. If this resonates with you, type one word in the comments right now: coherence. This single word signals to your nervous system and to the quantum field that you are choosing alignment. And as you do, notice how it feels in your body to claim coherence, not as an idea, but as a frequency you are living. When you begin to see abundance as who you are, not something you need to achieve, the weight falls away. Life begins to feel lighter, opportunities feel closer, and the inner tension of striving relaxes into a deeper rhythm. This doesn't mean you stop taking action. It means your action flows from alignment instead of from fear. And here is where most people misunderstand the millionaire mindset. They think it's about grinding harder, waking up at 4 a.m., consuming endless self-help books, forcing themselves into discipline. But true discipline isn't about control, it's about coherence. It's about aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions so that they no longer contradict one another. Imagine this. One part of you says, I want wealth, while another part whispers, but I don't deserve it. Another part says, I'm ready for success, while a hidden belief says, if I succeed, people won't love me. This is decoherence, and decoherence scrambles your field. The millionaire mindset is about resolving those contradictions, not through force, but through remembrance. You are already whole. You are already enough. When your nervous system rests in that knowing, the contradictions dissolve and your broadcast becomes consistent. And when your broadcast is consistent, reality has no choice but to mirror it. Science supports this. In neuroscience, coherence between the heart and brain has been shown to regulate emotions, enhance decision-making, and improve health. In physics, coherence is what makes lasers possible, a focused, unified wave of light, rather than scattered rays. Wealth is the same. When your frequency is coherent, your life becomes laser-like, cutting through obstacles, illuminating opportunities, and focusing energy into powerful creation. Let's ground this in a practical story. Imagine two entrepreneurs. The first one wakes up every day in stress. She hustles, checks her phone every 5 minutes, worries about bills, and constantly compares herself to competitors. On paper, she's doing all the right actions, networking, posting online, pitching clients, but her nervous system is broadcasting scarcity, and so her opportunities stall, her energy burns out, and her results plateau. The second entrepreneur wakes up and begins with a simple practice, breathing into coherence, remembering abundance as her nature. She takes action from that place, not trying to prove her worth, but to express her alignment. Her calls feel lighter, her posts carry inspiration, and people feel magnetized to her energy. She doesn't chase clients. Clients feel drawn to her. This is the difference between trying to be a millionaire and living as if you already are one. So how can you start living in this mindset? Begin with your body. Your nervous system is the gatekeeper. When you feel scarcity rise, tight, anxious thoughts, urge to control, pause. Breathe into the observer. Notice the pattern without judging it. This simple act shifts you from identification with the false self to alignment with the true self. From there, speak the new story. A simple phrase like, abundance is what I am. I remember who I am. This anchors the new frequency into your field. This may sound small, but it is profound. Because each time you do this, you're collapsing new probabilities in the quantum field. You're telling life, I choose coherence, and life responds. Remember, the universe is probabilistic, not deterministic. At every moment, countless possibilities exist. Your focus is what stabilizes one of them into reality. If you live in the mindset of scarcity, you're stabilizing that line of probability. But when you live as if you are already abundant, you're stabilizing higher probabilities. This is not just mystical, it is how quantum physics actually works. Now let's zoom out. The question, do you want to be a millionaire, is really a doorway. It invites you to examine not just money, but your relationship with reality. Because wealth is simply condensed energy. It is a mirror of your broadcast. So when you ask yourself this question, you are really asking, do I want to live in coherence? Do I want to embody abundance as my nature? Do I want to stabilize realities where expansion, contribution, and freedom are normal? And here's the deeper truth. When you live with the millionaire mindset, you don't just change your own life, you change the collective. Every time one person steps out of scarcity and into abundance, it creates resonance in the field. Just like a tuning fork can bring another into harmony, your coherence entrains others. That's why sometimes being in the presence of someone abundant feels liberating. You start to feel wealthier just by being near them. This is entanglement in action. We are not separate. We are quantumly connected. So yes, living with the mindset of a millionaire helps you, but it also helps humanity. It strengthens the collective field of possibility. It opens quantum windows for others to leap into. This is why your mission matters. This is why your abundance is not selfish, it's service. Now let's bring this even closer to practice. There is one tool I want you to integrate, the observer breath. It's simple, yet profound. Inhale, and as you do, imagine stepping back into the witness, the part of you that is awareness itself. Exhale and release identification with the story of scarcity. Repeat this 3 times. This simple breath shifts you from 3D survival into 5D coherence. It anchors you into the truth that you are not the false self scrambling for money. You are the field remembering its abundance. From this place, you can create a new identity script. 1 sentence. Something like, I am coherence. I am abundance. Life flows through me. Say it not as an affirmation, but as a remembrance. Let it vibrate in your body. This is the identity shift that creates new realities. And as you live in this identity, notice how your daily actions shift. Scarcity says, I need to post so people will notice me. Abundance says, I express myself because I am coherence and those aligned will respond. Scarcity says, I need this client to pay my bills. Abundance says, I serve because that is who I am, and compensation flows naturally. Scarcity grasps, abundance radiates. The truth is, wealth is not an amount of money. Wealth is coherence embodied. Millionaires are not defined by their bank accounts, but by the frequency they live in. And here's the liberating secret. You don't have to wait until you have millions to live that frequency. You can begin today, right now, in this breath. So again, I ask, do you want to be a millionaire? If your answer is yes, start by remembering abundance as your identity, because once you do, the external wealth will follow as a natural echo. Type the word abundance in the comments if you feel this shift. Let that be your signal, not just to the algorithm, but to your own nervous system, to the quantum field itself. When you choose abundance as your identity, something fascinating happens. Your perception of reality itself shifts. Suddenly, you start noticing opportunities that were invisible before. This isn't magic. It's your reticular activating system, the filter in your brain, tuning itself to coherence. The millionaire mindset primes your awareness to spot openings, synchronicities, and connections that scarcity would overlook. It's like tuning a radio. If you're stuck on the static of fear and lack, you can't hear the symphony of abundance playing on the other channel. But once you turn the dial, the music becomes clear. Living as if you already are abundant reorganizes your nervous system, your biology, and your outer life. This is why I say abundance is embodiment, not affirmation. You can repeat, I am rich 1,000 times, but if your body is still broadcasting fear, the signal doesn't land. But one moment of genuine coherence, when your breath slows, your heart opens, your body remembers safety, that single moment does more to collapse wealth into being than a year of forced affirmations. This is where many people get stuck. They think they need to add something, more affirmations, more rituals, more hacks. But the path is actually about shedding, revealing, remembering. The millionaire mindset isn't something you layer on top of yourself. It's what emerges when you stop identifying with scarcity. And here's a key. Scarcity is not real. Scarcity is forgetting. Abundance is remembering. Think of a cloudy day. The sun isn't gone, it's simply obscured. Scarcity is the cloud cover. Abundance is the ever-present sun. When you align your nervous system with coherence, the clouds part and the sun shines through. This remembering is deeply practical. Studies in positive psychology have shown that people who cultivate states of gratitude and abundance are not only happier, but more successful in business. Why? Because gratitude and abundance expand your cognitive flexibility. They make you more creative, resilient, and solution-oriented. Scarcity narrows your focus to immediate survival. Abundance widens your perception to possibility. So from a purely scientific lens, living with the millionaire mindset gives you an advantage in every area of life. Now let's anchor this with another metaphor: quantum tunneling. In physics, this is when particles pass through barriers that should be impossible to cross according to classical mechanics. They don't force their way, they simply shift frequency and appear on the other side. This is how breakthroughs happen in your life too. You don't grind endlessly against the wall. You shift frequency, and suddenly the wall is no longer a wall. The millionaire mindset allows you to tunnel through limitations that looked unbreakable from a scarcity perspective. This is why some people leap into wealth seemingly overnight. It's not luck, it's quantum alignment. They shifted frequency, and the field reorganized instantly. The story of Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, is a perfect example. She didn't have a background in fashion, she didn't have funding, she didn't even have connections. But she lived in possibility, she radiated coherence, and she took action from that place. The barriers dissolved, and she became the world's youngest self-made female billionaire. That's quantum tunneling in action. When you embody the millionaire mindset, you stop asking, "How can I get there?" and start asking, "Who am I being right now?" Because reality is participatory. It's not about manipulating the outside, it's about aligning the inside. You don't fix reality, you shift within, and the outer reorganizes naturally. Let's make this even more personal. Right now, feel into your body. Where do you carry the tension of scarcity? Maybe in your chest, your stomach, your jaw. That tightness is the false self gripping control. Place your attention there and breathe. Inhale, I observe. Exhale, I release. With each breath, you are disentangling from the scarcity broadcast. You are remembering abundance. This simple act is more powerful than 1,000 hours of hustle, because the frequency you broadcast now is what determines the reality you step into tomorrow. This is the essence of practical mysticism, bringing the quantum teachings into daily life. You don't need to live in a cave, meditate for 12 hours, or escape the world. You integrate, you embody, you stabilize coherence while living in the 3D world. That is mastery. That is the true millionaire mindset, not escaping reality but transforming it from within. And this brings us to mission. Your mission determines the intensity of your path. The bigger your purpose, the more pressure you may feel. But remember, disruption is not punishment, it is design. Every breakdown is an invitation to a higher breakthrough. Every obstacle is intelligence reorganizing you for greater coherence. So when life feels intense, remind yourself, this is the field upgrading me. This is training for my mission. This is wealth being woven through me. And mission is always collective. The millionaire mindset is not about hoarding, it is about circulation. Money is energy and energy flows. The wealthiest people on earth are those who allow circulation at the highest level. Ideas, service, contribution. This is why giving amplifies wealth. Not because of karma or charity, but because circulation is coherence. When you give, you affirm abundance. You declare, I trust the field, I am the field, and the flow will return multiplied. There is a phrase I want you to remember. You don't chase abundance, you circulate it. When you circulate it, it expands. When you hoard it, it stagnates. The millionaire mindset is about becoming a vessel for circulation. This also shifts your relationship with time. In 3D, time is linear, cause and effect, one thing after another. But in 5D, time is fluid. Synchronicities bend it. Possibilities collapse instantly. Opportunities appear out of nowhere. When you embody the millionaire mindset, you live less in linear grind and more in quantum flow. You may notice things that used to take years happen in weeks. Why? Because coherence collapses probabilities faster. Let's pause here for an integration. Place your hand on your heart. Breathe slowly. Whisper to yourself, I am coherence, I am abundance. Feel how your body shifts, even in this moment. That is alignment. That is the millionaire mindset in action. Not words on a screen, not theory, but frequency embodied. And remember, this is not just about you. Each time you do this, you ripple coherence into the collective. You help humanity stabilize in abundance. You remind others without speaking that scarcity is an illusion. You become a lighthouse, not by forcing light, but by embodying it. That is your true wealth. So let me ask again, do you want to be a millionaire? If so, begin here. Begin in your body. Begin in your breath. Begin in coherence. Because once you do, wealth is not something you chase, it's something you can't avoid. Type the word wealth in the comments right now. Let that be your declaration, your anchor, your signal to the field that you are choosing coherence. When you embody the millionaire mindset, your entire narrative about who you are begins to shift. You are no longer the struggler, the seeker, the one waiting for breakthrough. You are the broadcaster, the source, the field itself folding into form. This shift is subtle at first, an inner knowing, a soft relaxation, a sense of, I am already enough. But as it stabilizes, it becomes unmistakable. People around you sense it. Opportunities magnetize toward it. Synchronicities confirm it. And wealth becomes the natural echo of your being. Think of it like music. Scarcity is a dissonant note, always slightly off-key. Abundance is harmony, everything vibrating in resonance. When you live in resonance, others hear it, feel it, and naturally want to join. This is why aligned opportunities arrive without force. You don't need to knock on every door. The right doors open on their own because they resonate with your frequency. This is what the observer effect truly means in your life. In physics, particles collapse into form based on observation. In your life, reality collapses based on your embodied observation of self. If you observe yourself as limited, struggling, and unworthy, that is the reality that stabilizes. If you observe yourself as coherent, abundant, and free, then reality stabilizes accordingly. The field has no choice. It mirrors what you embody. Let's make this practical again. Imagine waking up tomorrow with two possible stories. In the first story, you wake up, grab your phone, scroll through notifications, feel the anxiety rise, and immediately start thinking, I need to fix my life. I need to make money. I need to catch up. That broadcast sets the tone for the day. Scarcity. Every interaction echoes it. Every opportunity filters through it. In the second story, you wake up, take 3 coherent breaths, and remember, abundance is who I am. I am the field. You don't grab your phone. You align your frequency first. From that state, the same interactions, the same opportunities, the same tasks feel entirely different. People respond differently. Ideas arrive more clearly. The flow of the day is not random, it's organized around your broadcast. That is the millionaire mindset in action. And the more you live this way, the more you see that wealth is not the goal. Wealth is the echo. The goal is coherence. The goal is remembrance. And when you live there, the millions arrive as naturally as your next breath. This also reframes failure. Scarcity sees failure as proof of not enough. Abundance sees failure as intelligence reorganizing. Every setback is data, feedback from the field guiding you into alignment. Thomas Edison famously said, I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That is the abundance mindset. Failure isn't the end, it's the field refining coherence. So when you ask, do you want to be a millionaire? Ask also, am I willing to see every disruption as design? Am I willing to trust randomness as intelligence? Am I willing to live as if abundance is my nature, even before the bank account proves it? Because that is the threshold, that is the leap. Let's explore identity more deeply. The false self clings to protection. It says, I am my bank balance, I am my job title, I am my achievements. But these are temporary illusions. The true self knows, I am the field. I am consciousness itself expressing as this human experience. I am not chasing abundance. I am abundance remembering itself. This identity shift is the essence of quantum coherence. You are not aligning with an idea, you are embodying truth. When you shed the illusions of lack, what remains is not something new, but something eternal, your true abundant self. And here's the profound part. The collective is waiting for you. Every time you stabilize in abundance, you anchor a higher frequency for humanity. This is why mission feels intense sometimes. You are not just shifting for yourself, you are shifting for the collective field. You are embodying possibility that others can entrain with. You are walking proof that abundance is real. This is why synchronicities multiply when you live this way. The universe responds with winks, nods, alignments. You think of someone and they call. You need a solution and it appears. These are not accidents, they are feedback from the field, confirming coherence. They are signposts saying, yes, you are aligned. Yes, keep going. Yes, this is the path. So how do you live this daily? With simple practical tools. Begin each morning with the observer breath. Inhale into awareness, exhale into release. 3 cycles is enough to shift your nervous system. Then speak your identity script out loud. I am coherence, I am abundance, life flows through me. Feel it in your body, not as affirmation but as remembrance. Then move into action, not from fear but from expression. Post online because you are coherence. Call a client because you are abundance. Write, create, serve because that is who you are. When you act from this frequency, every action multiplies. You no longer need to do 10,000 things hoping one will work. You do fewer things, but they resonate more powerfully. This is efficiency at the quantum level. Scarcity spreads energy thin, lots of action, little result. Abundance condenses energy, fewer actions, exponential result. This is how millionaires think. This is how millionaires live. Not more grind, but more coherence, and integration matters. Throughout the day when scarcity thoughts arise, don't fight them. Observe, breathe, remember. Scarcity is simply a cloud, it cannot erase the sun. The more you practice this, the faster your nervous system stabilizes. Eventually, coherence becomes your default. Abundance becomes your normal. At night, close your day the same way. Place your hand on your heart. Whisper, thank you, field. Thank you, coherence. Thank you, abundance. This gratitude seals the frequency. You fall asleep broadcasting wealth, and your subconscious spends the night stabilizing it. This is neuroplasticity in action. This is how you rewire your brain for abundance. Do you see how practical this is? It's not abstract, it's not only mystical, it is biology, physics, and consciousness woven together. It is how reality actually works, and once you live this way, you can't go back. Scarcity becomes unconvincing, lack feels unreal, because you know deep down that you are the field itself, and the field is infinite. So I'll ask you one final time, do you want to be a millionaire? If your answer is yes, don't wait, don't chase, don't grip, embody it now. Live as if you already are, because the truth is, you already are. You are not separate from abundance. You are not waiting for it to arrive. You are abundance remembering itself. Let this be your activation. Comment one word right now: coherence, abundance, wealth, freedom, whatever resonates most with your body. Let that word anchor into the field. Let it be your declaration to yourself, to your nervous system, to reality itself. And if you want to align deeper, subscribe and turn on notifications. Not because of algorithms, but because each reminder is a signal to your nervous system. I choose coherence. I choose remembrance. I choose abundance. This is XP Quantum, reminding you who you are. And remember, you already are abundance itself.